Hey guys, welcome to Spooky Primas, a podcast where we talk about urban legends, the paranormal, and anything is spooky. My name is Esme.
I am Fabi.
And I am Damaris.
So today's topic is La Llorona. So she's very popular. She's a very popular urban legend or tale. It's about a girl who died and then she's looking for her children. That's pretty much
It's very simplified.
Yeah.
To sum it up.
To sum it up. So when I came across my research when I was looking about La Llorona was a woman named La Malinche. She was a native girl who was sold as a here you go, please don't kill us kind of thing, like, as a
like an offering.
An offering, there you go, to the
Spaniards.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta grab my phone because I have it on there. So she was given up to the Spaniards. The Aztecs grew kind of some hate for her, or she got a lot of, they saw her as an enemy because she turned her back on them, according to them, because she became an interpreter for the Spaniards. So she could speak many languages. And so, in order to survive, she became a translator.
Yeah.
So later on, she ended up having a baby with the guy that she was sold off to. He was a famous conquistador. And I forgot his name. Sorry. I had it and then I didn't. Let me bring her up.
It's so funny that they're mad at her for being is it a translator?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
but they
a
sold
translator.
her, right?
An interpreter, pues. Yeah, for Cortez. That's his last name, Cortez. And had a baby named Martin. So
The Cortez?
The Cortez.
She was sold to El Cortez.
Cortez.
Really?
Wow.
Cortez, that's his last. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen his pictures in like history books, and he has like the curly beard and like the little mustache.
You know what? Yeah, probably. Yeah. So she was sold off to him and she became their interpreter, and it wasn't like, it's not a love story. She did what she had to do to survive. Her story specifically, she had to do in order to survive. But because she was helping them and she had a baby, the Aztecs saw her as a enemy. And they grew to resent her a lot. They grew to resent her and the baby. So they started saying that she killed her baby because she found out that Cortez was going to leave with her son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so out of anger that she killed her son. And that's where we kind of see the crumbs of La Llorona kind of start to appear and come to life, was that she pretty much, they made her out to be this terrible person. As time went on, she wasn't seen that way anymore. She was seen more of a motherly figure and somebody that had so much bravery to do what she did, be an interpreter and go against her people just so she could survive, right, kind of thing. Her son did not die. She didn't kill her son. And they say that he lived to live a long life. Now, was it controversial? A lot of people say that it was, but he did live a life.
Okay.
A long life. So that's where kind of like the sprinkles of La Llorona started.
The origin story of La Llorona came from La Malinche.
Yeah, so they...
the guy took her son, or why would they say that she killed the kid?
Because out of resentment. They were so upset that she went against them or didn't, do what.
But wouldn't other people see the child and be like, "Oh no, that's a lie. The baby's still alive."
Yeah, but when something starts, it's like,
Yeah, it's a rumor is very hard to stop. What's it?
She's gonna kidnap another baby and be like, "I didn't kill him. Here he is."
I mean, there are stories like that. But I mean, they just did it out of anger more than anything, more of a sign of betrayal that she went against her people.
After they sold her, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's well, when I did some research, that's kind of where the little sprinkles of La Llorona, which if you look at it from like just from the front of it, it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of crumbs there.
Mhm.
The crumbs are mostly that, oh, she had a kid.
I mean, I kind of see it. Most stories of La Llorona, it's like a Spaniard man and a native woman. They have a child together, and then the child, one way or another, passes away.
Mhm.
And then she's left to look for her kid.
Yeah.
Now, for when I was little, they said that she had 2 kids, right? And then on the one that you said is she only had 1.
I've always heard 3. But
Yeah, I've heard 3 with like a 4th one on the way.
I've heard 3. The story. There's so many stories about her that it's like, ¿cuál es la real? Pues there's not really a definitive. The main factors are she's a woman. She fell in love. The guy left, cheated, married somebody else. She had kids and she killed them, or something happened.
Yeah. They all have different variants, but it's obviously the same story.
Yeah.
So you took a trip to Mexico.
I did. I went to Querétaro, and while I was there, I took a ghost tour. And on that ghost tour, they took us to this building that has to do with La Llorona. To be honest, I don't remember what the building was. I think it was I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it had to do with the man that the original La Llorona fell in love with. It's like his family's, what's it called? Hacienda.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way that they interpreted it to us was that there was a native girl. She was working in the mines in Mexico. And one day, this handsome jalan on a horse comes, and he runs into her, and she tries not to look at him, but she does anyway, and she instantly falls in love with this man. He's like a Spaniard. And they do fall in love. They end up having kids. He promises her that he's going to marry her eventually. They end up having 3 kids together, and she's pregnant with a 4th when she starts hearing a rumor around her village that her soon-to-be husband is with somebody else. So she runs to go find him. She runs into the city, and he sees him dressed very fancy, like he's gonna get married, and he's with another woman. And she's like, "What are you doing? Who's this woman? Why are you dressed like that?" And the guy rejects her. And in this pit of despair, she runs back home, and she's crying and crying, and a storm happens. And her kids go to her, because as she's crying, she falls over, she hurts herself, she like trips on the stairs or something. And her kids come to her aid, and she pushes them away. She's like, "Get away from me. I don't want your help." Blah, blah, blah. So she's mourning. She's by herself. The storm passes. And when she comes to, she starts looking for her kids. And that's when she realizes that when she pushed her children away, they actually ended up passing away from the storm. They drowned in the waters from the storm. And that's where she starts to mourn for her kids and starts to look for them. They don't talk about her death, but that's kind of like where she goes into, I don't know if it's like a psychosis or something, but she starts looking for her kids, starts mourning for them.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the many tales.
Yeah.
There's one that I've heard. Her name in this story is Maria, and that she is a poor woman in this small little town, but she's very beautiful. She's a very beautiful woman. And one day there was this guy, a conquistador,
Another one,
that went through their little town, and he saw her, and she saw him, and they ended up forming a relationship. They ended up having 3 children, and he stayed with her for the most part. So they were together for a while until he left. He told her that he would be back, but he left. And one day when she was walking down the riverbank with her children, back then it was very common to do laundry outside. So she was taking her kids to go do laundry. And when she turned, she saw this beautiful horse. She saw her husband, and she saw a beautiful woman sitting behind him. And she was wearing a wedding dress, and people were clapping and they were celebrating because they had just gotten married.
Wow.
And so, out of anger, she drowned her kids in the river. After she came out of that anger, she noticed what she had done, and she ended up killing herself too. So she ended up drowning herself. When she went to Heaven's Gate, God denied her permission to come inside until she found her kids' souls. So she was put here on earth to wander for the rest of her life until she can find her baby souls.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like purgatory, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And what is she supposed to do with the souls? Like, take them back to God? I found them.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, bring them back to me. But, they were kids, so obviously they...
That doesn't make any sense, because if her kids died first, so they went to heaven first.
That's
so
right. It's a form of punishment.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's a form of punishment because, let's be real, they were children.
Yeah.
So they didn't even live long enough to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So they most likely, in this scenario, they were able to pass over. But she murdered them. She killed them. So as a form of punishment, he's like, you gotta stay here and figure it out, pretty much.
Yeah. So she's stuck on earth forever.
Pretty much.
Trying to steal these people's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly.
I know, like, that was the story that, like, we all heard together to make sure that we weren't outside too late.
Yep.
Yeah, you weren't doing anything bad.
Yeah.
Don't stay close to the river, any lakes, make sure you're home. And if you hear her crying, you didn't.
Yeah.
If you hear any weeping, you didn't.
I hear that if she's far away, she's close, right? And then she's close, she's far away.
If she's far away, her voice, her cries sound closer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then if she's close, her cries sound like she's far away.
Oh, okay.
It's like the opposite.
The opposite. Okay.
It's like eyes. You know how they... Never mind. That's an eye joke. You won't get it. Yeah, but it's honestly, her story is kind of sad.
Yeah.
So you have a story to tell us.
I do. I asked around to see if anybody had any experiences with La Llorona, and one of my friends uh, had an experience. Well, not my friend, it was his friend's dad. And so he wrote it all out for me, so this is going to be me retelling the story as it is. And it starts this way. My friend's dad experienced this. My friend's dad, let's call him Carlos, and his brother, my friend's Theo, let's call him Adrian, were driving back to the US from Mexico. As they were driving through Guanajuato, they had to drive over a long bridge. And Adrian mentions to Carlos how creepy it is that night and how they have a bad feeling about where they're at. Moments later, halfway across the bridge, the car stutters off. The engine dies, the lights turn off, the radio turns off. Everything turns off. After a few attempts to start the car, Carlos decided to check what was on under the hood. All the while, Adrian is standing nearby, keeping an eye out in case some unwanted company comes from either edge of the bridge. A few moments go by with Carlos focused on the car, and Adrian starts to feel even more uneasy, like they weren't alone, being watched. He focuses out on that's when he noticed a whimpering sound in the distance, like a woman sobbing. Adrian looks over the side of the bridge, peering into the darkness of the night, with his eyes adjusted by now. Along the edge of the river they were above, he sees a woman hunched over, walking through the water, searching for something. Adrian watches her. He hears her, wailing through the water. She's going in the direction of the end of the bridge that they drove from. That's when he hears her. Mis hijos, ¿dónde están? ¿Dónde están mis hijos? Upon hearing her words, he freezes, catches himself from calling out to her, realizing who he was watching. He backed away from the side of the bridge, slowly looking back at Carlos, seeing that, even in the darkness of this night, he was noticeably pale as a sheet. It has to be a prank. A joke? There's no reason for someone to be out here at this time other than to try and scare people. Carlos says, maybe trying to convince himself to keep his sanity in check at this point. Carlos, I don't think this is a prank. We need to leave, Adrian whispers, with his eyes refocused on the woman by the edge of the river, now hunched over, crying herself into her hands. Hey, are you... Carlos starts to yell out before his brother looks at him to cut him off. Don't. But it was too late. The wailing stopped. Dread. Cold. Silence. There's no crickets. No wind. Carlos stands there, wide-eyed, with fear across his face. Adrian quickly looks back at the woman only to see her looking back at them from the bottom, with her hands out, palms up, strands of black hair covering her face. She was featureless, but there was no mistaking that she was looking directly at them. Hunched over, she starts to slowly stand, palms out, facing away from her face. Adrian realizes that by the time she's fully standing, she's well beyond the height of an average person. She's a gaunt, lanky, pale figure in the quiet night. Her arms finally drop down to her sides, fingertips past her waist. Silence. Carlos and Adrian are staring at this thing, too scared to move. All the while, it's staring right back at them. That's when the car headlights flash back on behind them, the light switch still left on the on position. In that same moment, the woman dashes behind the bushes behind her, disappearing into the dark. Carlos and Adrian jump into their car without a hitch. They start the engine on the first try. Carlos slams his foot on the pedal, speeding down the rest of the length of the bridge towards the end. Meanwhile, Adrian is looking in the rearview window, and he sees the same woman, back at her seemingly normal height, standing in the distance at the end of the bridge where they came from, watching them drive away. There's no possible way anyone could have come running from the river's edge to the end of the bridge in that amount of time. For years, my dads and Theo kept that story to themselves, as they thought nobody was going to believe them.
That's freaky.
Wow.
Just the thought of like you seeing somebody just like yeet it to the behind a bush Just like, woo.
I know. It's like she just like runs back there like a wild animal.
Yeah.
Am I the other one that would just stay in the car? Like, don't get out of the car?
Girl, the car's broken.
What are you gonna do with the car broken? You're just gonna sit
like
there.
their car just started, so just wait.
It stopped, and then I would book it.
Yeah.
I would check if it was, under the hood and stuff like that.
Well, that's what they were doing, so I mean, somebody has to check under the hood.
Yeah. They got distracted by her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, good thing they saw her and were able to like run away, but also like.
So what if they didn't see her? She was just gonna walk up to them and be like, "Hey, what if?" Have you seen my kids? No? Okay. See you later. See you later.
Have a good ride.
She's just like a good Samaritan.
Right. I don't know why the
She's
thought...
coming out of the bush with like jumper cables. Do you need a jump?
I don't know why the thought of her wearing like one of those yellow vests and just holding a stop sign and just ushering people past. It's okay, I got you guys. Les ayudo. No se preocupen. That's funny. We shouldn't be making fun of her. I feel like she's gonna come in our sleep now. Sorry. Perdón.
We're laughing with you.
It's just a joke, bro. It's just a joke. You've been here.
Like those TikTok comments, like I rebuke this energy.
You've been here for 500 years or longer. Come on, you got a
We're
joke.
not children though, so I don't think she would. And plus, I think that she doesn't like grown people, so.
Oh, that's my dog. He's making an appearance. Come here. Yeah, it's freaky. Like when people talk, like seeing her, hearing her, it always freaks me out because I'm like, yeah, what if? Like, what if she gets? What happens?
I always figured that when she captures you, she would take you to the river and drown you, or like just like drown you in like the nearest.
So like you're just kind of like wiggling around trying to get away from her. She must have some extra like super strength.
Oh, I don't know about that. I do know that like if she ends up like capturing you, she does kill you. Like,
yeah.
Or is it more like a possession type of thing? Like that she kind of hypnotizes you. Like you have to go to the river now.
Yep.
Don't stop with that funny, buddy. You see a lady crying, just keep driving, guys. Just ignore it.
Be here. We live in the desert. We have no water.
For real, we're like
Lake Mead
dry half of the time.
That's already dry. Like
there's already dead bodies.
Yeah, so.
Victims.
Yeah, right. It's always like Llorona. It was never the monsters.
Never.
They just took all the credit.
Yeah. So I have a story. Shout out to Reddit. This one reads, all right, so this story has been told to me by my mom a few times. And every single time I still get that creepy, eerie feeling that someone is watching me. My mom is from a small town in Mexico located in Zacatecas. When she was around 14, she had the habit of waking her mom up to go to the restroom since it was an older house and the restroom was located outside. My mom tells me that it was around 3 a.m. when she woke up and felt that she needed to use the restroom. She began calling out for her mom. After a while of her mom not responding, she began to get agitated and started screaming. At this point, my mom turns around and at the foot of her bed, she sees her mom standing there. She was wearing a white robe, but her facial expression was very bleak, and both her arms were extended. My mom said that she suddenly felt extremely cold and a huge sense of dread washed over her. She had never seen her mom wear a white robe. That's when she looked down and saw her mom's feet weren't touching the floor. At that moment, she screamed and quickly threw the covers over her head. Her mom, wearing something completely different, runs in to find my mom shaking in her bed. Nobody believed my mom. Everyone told her it was a dream. Until a few days later, there was a power outage. During this, my mom and a few of her siblings, with her parents, all decided to sleep in the living room. And at around the same time, 3 a.m., they heard the same undeniable wails of La Llorona down their street. None of them slept that night.
It is so spooky. It's chilling.
So, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you go to Mexico, and depending on where you are or the house, the way the houses were built, will determine if you're going to have a good stay or a bad stay. Because if the bathroom is outside, girl, you better start praying.
Yeah.
You better hold that rosary. You better have holy water. Because even for you to go take a shit, it's going to be...
It's going to be an experience.
It's going to be an experience.
And it's not even like right next to the house. It's like you have to go down.
Yeah. It's like
a walk.
Yeah. So imagine waking up at I'd rather just pee myself. 3 a.m.
And the kitchen sink.
Boys have it easy. Just pee in a water bottle. Cause no, and especially if I look at the foot of my bed and my mom was staring at me like I ain't her kid and she ain't got no legs. Forget it.
Well, so that story it reminds me a lot of one of my friends actually told me, because there's connections to it that I find really interesting. In that Reddit story, the Llorona is wearing all white and she's not touching the floor. Well, in the story that my friend told me, I'll just go up from the beginning. He told me this back when we were in high school, and it was his dad and his friends they were walking along the river at night in Mexico, and they start hearing this wailing, this crying woman, and that's when they all kind of like look at each other and they instantly know like it's La Llorona, but they're all frozen in fear, and they start looking around to their vicinity. They see trees, it's all dark, and out of nowhere they see a woman, and she's wearing all white. She has her white weepy, like everything head to toe, and she's just like standing there crying, and they all are freaking out. They take a closer look, they're staring at it, and they notice that she's like a skeletal figure almost. And they look down at her feet, and her feet are not touching the floor. That's when they all freak out and they all run away. That's basically their story. They see La Llorona, they freak out, and they all run away because it's La Llorona. That's what you're supposed to do. But I find it crazy that they have that same connection of like the white and the feet not touching the floor.
That's always been such a scary image to me, to just see somebody all in white, hair in the face, can't see, like it's just they just look so creepy.
Yeah,
it freaks me out. You know what that reminds me of? When you used to live in those apartments, and I would be so scared to go to the bathroom by myself. I would literally wake you up to go to the bathroom talking about stories. But I remember I had a nightmare that I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up and I went, and the way that my cousin's room, like house used to be was it was my aunt's room, and then there was the bathroom, and then down the hallway was her brother's room. And so I got up to go to the bathroom in my dream, and when I came out of the bathroom, I looked up, and down the hallway, it was freaking me out. It gave me the heebie-jeebies, because I remember it because it scared me so bad. But when I looked up and I looked down the hallway, there was a lady standing there dressed in all white, her hair in her face. And then I woke up from my dream and I had to go pee, so I woke you up. Because if I'm going to die, we're going to die together.
It was the ring lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, fuck no. It's spooky. It's freaky. I do have another one. Shout out to Reddit. She said, mind you, also, if you take a look at these both stories. They were both young. The mom, because this is another mom. They were the mom in the first story was 14, and the mom in this story was 10. So that's freaky. And then yours was men.
They were adult.
Wait, the
adult
other
men.
one, she used to wake her mom up to take her to the bathroom.
Yeah, girl, because she
She's
was
14.
She was in Mexico.
Oh.
Está fuera. I would wake somebody up too. I would wake somebody up at my grown age.
It's like that one is was a little bit confusing. I'm like, why would you wake your mom at age 14 to go use the restroom?
Because it's Mexico and it's outside.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's spooky, and I refuse to go by myself outside.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. 20-year-olds go to the bathroom with their mom now.
20-year-old.
She was 14.
I'm pretty sure she would live with him.
Live with who?
With her parents.
No.
Yeah.
Until she was older.
That doesn't mean she's gonna wake up her parents when she's 20 to go to the bathroom.
She's 14.
14 is a long ways away from 20.
She's a teenager.
Okay.
If you guys heard that was my dad. Note to self: never wake you up if we're in Mexico and I need to use the bathroom, because you're gonna be like you're the ripe age of 20-some years old. You can go by yourself.
Yeah, you can go by yourself. You know.
You would let me die.
I don't think we'll go back to Mexico though, because I mean,
I will say
it's so like lonely there where we live. It's like nothing there.
Where we're from is pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, we're from a very small pueblito.
I'd rather just go to the city.
No Llorona there.
But it's got their own stories.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
Is old.
that
They have their own legends.
so true. That's so freaky.
Yep.
When I lived in Mexico for the whole 2 years I lived there, I hated having to walk by myself anywhere, because it was so creepy. And the moment the sun went down, mind you, it's a pueblito, so there's no street lights. There's
No, they're like stuck in
it's
in
like
the back.
yeah, anything major that you need to go to the city to get. There's little stores there that sell little things, but
But it's like run out of like your parents' friend's house.
yeah, exactly. It's like the front part of their house
Yeah.
is whatever they're selling in the back of the
It's their
house
house.
is their house. Yeah. And then like if you wanted to make phone calls, you would have to they're like
Phone
booths.
booths,
They're phone
yeah.
booths. They're literally phone booths,
And
and
they have like their own call with a little boy that be like, oh, this person has a call, so he runs.
yeah.
Be like, hey, you have a call. They're gonna come back in 15 minutes, so you have to go back and you have to tip the little boy.
hmm Yeah, that's how you made your money back then. Yeah, it was. Now I don't know how it looks like now. I do every now and then see from my dad's phone, or like my dad will tell me like, oh, they upgraded. You know, I think they
Yeah.
barely got streets. Okay, guys, they barely got roads.
Actually, when we went, they barely had internet. They didn't have internet in the houses. They barely had TV. Like
Yeah.
there was families that would share like satellite.
Yeah,
Like one will pay for it, and they would give a box to like their neighbor, but it would suck though because you have to watch what the other person is watching.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
hmm
No, yeah. When I went, there was no TVs. We had a radio. That was it.
yeah,
You have the radio, or you can go to the parque and play in the cancha. That's it.
Yeah,
yeah. It was.
and it's all dirt.
Yeah, it's
All
all
dirt.
dirt. So
Dirt.
your shoes, forget about it. We would go through shoes when I lived there. I would go through shoes like crazy. My mom would get so mad, but I'm like, it's dirt. What do you expect? I'm running around outside. And then to get to my cousin's house, it was like you could still see. So the way that our grandparents' house is like a little turn to like, and you would go down like the pathway, but it was like another turn, and then you would go heading towards my cousin's house. So it was kind of like a squiggle, like a little
Like
squiggle.
an S.
Yeah, like an S to get in my cousin's house. My other cousin that only speaks Spanish. But I would hate going by myself. I would make my mom take me because I'm like, I want to go hang out with people my own age, but at the same time I'm scared because it's like dark.
It's super dark.
It's dark, and
Dark down there.
their home is close to the freaking cemetery. So, God forbid.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, I get taken. And they also have their own little stories. I remember them telling me that they could hear crying from the cemetery. And I'm like, I'm never staying here. I'm going home.
If it's midnight, I'm like, my ass home.
I remember Mom being like, do you want to stay with your cousin? I'm like, no. I know.
Take me home.
Take me with you. I don't want to be over here. I'm scared. Anyway, that's not what we were talking about.
Story time.
Story time. Sorry. I got distracted. There's just so much that can be talked about, especially from the little spot, the place that we're from.
And we are kind of covered here.
Yeah. We got to talk to my dad or moms and dads about more stories about the little pueblito that we're from. Anyway, so this one says, my mom was 10 years old and lived next to a small ditch next to a highway. She stayed at her friend's house, which was a little closer to the ditch. The day went normal, riding bikes, playing, typical girl stuff. Then night came, and they knew it was time to get home once the street lights came on. They were sitting in the friend's bedroom, radio on, listening to music and playing card games. It was already dark out. The music from the stereo filled the room. Now, my mom's friend lives with her mom and grandma, who both speak fluent Spanish. My mom understood it, just did not speak it. My mom developed this overwhelming sense of anxiety and terror. Then it started. Crying. The girls both heard it, but brushed it off as a cat or a drunken neighbor. Soon the crying began to become louder and more obnoxious, like it wanted to be heard. The girls paused what they were doing, staring at the window. Once they looked that way, the crying became ear-splitting. So loud, it resonated over the stereo. Both girls having their hands over their ears, fearful of what was happening. The grandma bursted into the room, holy water in one hand and the rosary in the other. She was screaming over the crying, praying in Spanish. My mom says that when she did this, the radio started to static and the lights began to flicker. Both the crying and praying booming extremely loud until quiet. It all stopped. The grandma said a prayer over my mom and her granddaughter and made them go into the living room, instructing them not to return to that room for the rest of the night and not to look out the window. My mom returned home in the morning, not speaking of what happened. Even when she tells the story now, an overwhelming sense of fear takes over and she gets goosebumps.
Scary.
No.
Absolutely not.
So she was close, right? Or she was far away?
Well, if you believe what they say about her cries, of it being like the opposite, then she would have been far.
She would have been far away? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. That would... Then they weren't in any danger, but it sounded so close that it scared them.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the grandma just busted in there with holy water in her hand.
She was ready to go. This was her moment to shine.
She was like the Kool-Aid maid.
Oh, yeah.
We joke too much. This is why things happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad she had the holy water.
That's
Yeah,
freaky.
Yeah, she was ready.
Rosary. That's what I said. Rosary in one hand, holy water in the other.
She was like, I'm meant for this.
There's nothing like an older Mexican woman just ready to go.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're always ready to go. They're so superstitious.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're super superstitious out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. Mexico has some creepy stuff.
I mean, that story also had like a connection with one of the ones that I said is the car it turned off when they were near her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and in that story, the radio, and it was starting to waver. It was like staticky.
Yeah.
So do you think that she was making her way towards them?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So because of the fact that in the other story you said was that the car stopped and they wanted to turn back on. And she was close.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know how close they sound. They heard her, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't really explain, but even in this story, it's like the radio started staticking, and they heard her very loudly, but she could have been making her way towards them.
Yeah, because you do hear in all the ghost TV shows that I've watched growing up.
Supernatural got me ready for this one.
the ghosts or whatever, they can manipulate like magnetic fields,
Oh, okay.
like electricity. So like people use things like static and radios and stuff like that to communicate with ghosts, and the ghost can like affect electronics, and that's probably what was going on. Is she was probably like taking the energy from the electronics around her.
So you're saying if the grandma didn't go in there, she would have like appeared, or
maybe she could have snatched some kids up. They were close to a ditch.
Really?
That's scary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she said it twice.
Oh, my bad.
Her mom lived next to a ditch. Her mom's friend lived closer to the ditch. So I don't know.
She was trying to put them in the ditch.
But no, it's true that they mess with electronics and stuff like that to get. What was that?
What?
I don't know. The clicking sound?
That freaks me out.
No, I don't know what that was.
It's
not the dog.
No, the dog's sitting under he's laying on my feet. But it's crazy. Look, guys, this apartment is haunted, and I'm like 100% sure of it, because tell me why the other day my dad my brother left his kids here, right? Because they went to go this is completely sidebar, I'm sorry, but my brother left his kids here because they needed to go pick up something, and my nephew needed to use the restroom, so they left the kids here. And he went to my dad's room, right? Because they were watching TV with my dad in his room. And my nephew was like, "Grandpa, I can't stay here." And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because I'm scared." And my dad's like, "Well, what are you scared of?" And he's like, "The man scared me." And my dad's like, "What man?" He's like, "The man that's out there scared me." He's like, "So I can't stay here." And after that, I was like, what man is in here scaring these poor kids?
It's disgusting. But it's scary.
Horrible.
Yeah. So he kept knocking on my door, and he's like, when are my parents picking me up? And I'm like, they're going to pick you up soon. He's like, okay. And he kept doing that over and over again. And so the next day, my dad was like, oh, he kept asking you because he was scared.
Oh.
I was like, oh, well, the only man that lives here is my dad, so.
The dog.
And the dog. My dad was like, my things have also happened to my dad in this apartment.
That is scary.
Yeah, he was like, it's not funny, but he was like, one night, I think we had just moved into this apartment, and he was like, hey, did you open the door last night? And I was like, no.
Oh my God.
And he was like, because I saw somebody open the door and peek their head in. And he's like, and I thought it was you, because it was a girl that peeked her head in. And I was like, Dad, I was asleep, okay? And it was not me. It was not this girl. And he's like, yeah. And then they just closed the door. They just closed it. So we either have a ghost, or we have one of those people that just is living here rent free,
like a squatter.
Yeah.
One of those people that they live in like your attic or whatever.
Fuck, no, girl, the attic's technically in my room. They can't get through. I have a bunch of teddy bears up there, so if one falls, I'll know.
Well, hopefully they'll buy some food, because
Can you leave some rent money?
Some grocery money, something.
Cheating off you guys.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, that ain't right. He scared me. Anyway, and I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. We have so many creepy ghost stories in this family.
We should make that a series.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that was not the only one. I know you have some. You have some. I have some. We all have some.
We should make like a campfire type episode where we just tell our personal little ghost stories.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Anyway, we already ranted for so long.
Yeah, we did.
So thank you for staying and listening to our first ever episode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it had to be about the famous and wonderful La Llorona because she's a staple. She's a queen.
She's the legend.
Literally, she's literally a legend.
She's the legend.
She's the legend, the one and only. I was gonna say Vanessa Hudgens, but that's not.
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Horrible movie. Great.
I didn't like the movie.
The movie was awful.
The movie wasn't it.
Yeah.
I didn't like the movie. It was too
Very disappointing. Very, very.
It
The
felt,
most recent movie.
yeah, the most recent one. Yeah,
the most recent one.
it was too comical to me. It just didn't seem. It just seemed
It
more
didn't
like
click. It didn't
yeah.
fit.
To me, it kind of just felt like we were making fun of her.
Yeah.
It wasn't scary.
It didn't feel serious.
Yeah, it didn't feel serious. I just felt, I guess,
It was like a money grab.
Yeah.
that's what it was. Because
they didn't put effort into it,
Mm-mm.
like
first of all, y'all just want to put Annabell on everything.
Yeah.
When I saw that too, I was like, what?
That's
I'm so mad. I was like, I
Why?
can't believe that they lured me and they lured the whole like Hispanic audience in on this movie for La Llorona, and then it ends up being part of the Annabelle collection.
That is
They
And I was
use
bullshit.
us. They use
What?
us.
That's bullshit. I was sitting there like, girl, she got like 4 movies on her own.
Can we just have one? Just give us one.
30.
You already got Coco. Okay, we got Coco, but give us one scary movie.
It was so bad. It made me so upset when I saw that. I was so upset. I'm like, this
Me
isn't right. Okay, you guys could have made such a good La Llorona movie.
Oh,
It could have been flawless. You guys could have done it. Okay, and you guys could have filmed it somewhere more. I don't know.
Mexican.
Yeah, somewhere that looked a little bit more
a little desert ranchito.
ranchito. Yes,
You can't say
that.
there's none here because there's a bunch.
Yeah.
You
know,
could have
there's a
found one.
bunch,
You
yeah.
could have made one. Okay, you mean to tell me?
That's
We have a whole
Exactly.
desert,
You
yeah.
got all this money. You could have make one.
Yeah,
Don't
but
get me started.
Perfect.
It
I wish they could remake it.
makes me so
I'm
upset.
sure somebody else. There's a bunch of La Llorona movies out there.
Yeah, but the recent one, the one that.
Yeah.
But what's one that's like, this is a really good one?
Gotta watch and find out, I guess.
Right, we got to start from the beginning. Just like the Exorcist movies.
All the Annabelle movies.
All the Annabelle
Yeah.
movies. She got a bunch of her own, and we're rooting for her. Okay, I mean, kind of. Don't come after me.
She's on tour right now. She's in Arizona.
They lost her, and then they found
They
her.
found her, yeah.
But apparently, they didn't find her the same.
She was loopy.
Oh.
That she was loopy. My girl didn't have nothing. So apparently when they found her, she was very like slumped over. She looked like a regular rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Took
So
her stuffing out.
What if the demon left her? and
that's
people-
what
That's
people
what
are
they're
saying.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like that they could have.
Like she's no longer like.
And apparently-
Actually, if you see her, you could tell the difference. Because when they had her in the little, in the house, she was like firm and stuff. And then the picture that they took now, she can't even sit still. She's all like,
To the side.
yeah, to the side. Yeah.
And I heard that they were supposed to be doing like rituals because it said that they couldn't get rid of the demon because the demon was so powerful.
Right.
And sorry, this is another sidebar, but that the demon was so powerful, so the only way that they could control it was to do these rituals. And they told Lorraine that they needed to do these rituals to keep the demon intact and keep it where it is, keep it captured.
Mhm.
So the fact that they took this demon on tour, a world tour, sir,
Lost her in Texas.
lost in all places.
In
You lost her in Texas. And then you found her, and she's gone. She's technically gone.
Yeah.
Because ain't no way she's in there.
No.
Yeah, that's
You can tell
crazy.
the difference. Like I said, if you look at the picture, you can tell the difference between how it looked to how it looks now.
Mhm.
Yeah, she doesn't look the same. So apparently they're,
Where was she, by the way? Where did they find her? I never.
I don't know. All I know is I was I saw that they found her. That she was lost, and then they found her,
So now there's
and that she doesn't look the same.
Now there's a thing out there with her little friend in it.
They just said they found her and it's just another Annabelle doll.
Then we're all screwed. Because
it's. I mean, it's not. How you gonna take it on a world tour? Is this doll
money? It's all for money.
Well, there's like another movie coming out.
They're promoting it, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for promotion.
But it's all for the money. But at the same time, it's also stupid. Like, okay, it's this thing that people say that she's very demonic and she's very like all this stuff, and you take her out.
They like said well in advance. I think Ed and Lorraine had said never to move her.
Yeah.
They put her in the case for a reason, right?
Yeah. That's what I said. They would have a priest go, bless it, do a ritual to keep it there. And you guys moved it. Cool. We are all screwed.
How are they
I love another pandemic.
How are they traveling though? Like airlines?
I'm pretty sure they were driving.
She was in a car, I guess, because when they took her out, it was. But it's like, why? But for why?
But for why?
She's in the Spirit airline.
Spirit Airlines becomes literal.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't get it. I think that's one of the things that really like made me so upset about that whole situation, that they literally took her out, even though it was said, do not
take her.
It even says in the case, don't touch.
Wow, I mean, that is so
Not only did you touch, you literally
took her out.
When
she was traveling without the case, like she was just like.
No, she was in the case still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody took the whole case. I don't know if
how did they steal her though?
I guess they need more surveillance.
They probably weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, to steal a doll with the case. Well, did they take the case or no? Did they take the case?
I don't think they took.
They just took the
I'm not 100% sure how that all went down. I was kind of like, I don't really want to look into it because she freaks me out. So,
okay.
But yeah, that they took it out. But I also hear apparently the person that's doing that's like taking her on a world tour, he also has some controversy going on.
Oh, really?
Who is it, by the way? I don't know who it is.
I don't remember his name. I just saw, like, I'm passing by that he has a habit of ripping people off.
Or like, he actually stole the doll and has the real doll.
What if it ends up in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum?
But that's... He's promoting it.
In like 30 years, he's like, I found the original
dog. I'll prove it.
Yeah. I found it, guys. Where is it? Yeah, because you have to pay money to see her.
Wow.
That's crazy. No.
That's very crazy. The fact that you actually took her, lost her in Texas.
Like everybody was like on the same page that this was a stupid idea to begin with.
Horrible idea.
And then they lost her, and now everybody was like, "We told you, like this was dumb."
Can you guys just put her back? Well, if you put her back,
maybe she just wants to go back home.
What if she does? Like, what if
she's walking back to to Connecticut?
She's literally like, I didn't want to do this to begin with.
She's an introvert.
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out his name. I might have to find it for the next episode.
Different.
You see the difference? Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody's just showing a picture of how she looked before and after, and in the before it looks like an actual like
doll,
like a person almost posing. In the second one, she looks just like a regular rag doll.
Yeah, just a regular.
Yeah,
you could tell the difference for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the real one, but
I guess we'll all find out.
She looks like a gangster sitting there in the first picture.
Well, that's her home. That's what I'm saying. What if she really did just want to go home?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I want to go home. Like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Why are we making it into such a... You guys could have promoted the movie differently.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like everybody would have been hyped enough anyway because it's such a, like, I don't know, it's a beloved series. Everybody loves The Conjuring. Is it The Conjuring?
Yeah, they're like in that whole series.
Yeah.
Ryan Buell.
Who's the owner of the doll since they passed away? Who's the owner?
So she was the whole museum was taken over by the daughter and the son-in-law, but everybody kind of feels some type of way about the son-in-law because it kind of seems like he's been doing most of everything, kind of, and they don't know. And that's another point of contentment, that they're like, have they been doing the rituals that Lorraine and Warren did? Have they been
the upkeep and stuff?
Yeah, upkeeping with her and stuff.
Well, apparently
like
not, since
they were just like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go, guys. Just take her on a ride. Take her on a spin. You know?
They lost the chance they got.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see if there's any other... There's a lot of weird things that have been happening, but it could just be coincidence.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Anyway, we are literally the embodiment of our parents when they say goodbye and they just keep talking.
Right? Like, get a little closer to the door and then a whole new conversation just
starts. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, this time for realsies. Thank you for joining us on our very first episode of Spooky Primas. Follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
On Spooky Primas, same name.
Send us your stories.
Send us your stories, yeah. So send us your stories on Spooky Primas on Instagram or our email, which is pretty much the same, spookyprimas@gmail.com. Because we would love to talk and listen and hear more spooky stories. If you have any stories about La Llorona, you can send them in, because we can do kind of like a little update or do a little mini series. That's my dog yelling that you have to do it or else. Anyway, it was nice talking to you guys. We will see you on the next episodes. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.